Newly confirmed Neil M. Gorsuch is likely to have an immediate impact at the Supreme Court, weighing in as early as next week on whether to consider expanding the breadth of the Second Amendment. He could play a decisive role this spring in determining how voting rights should be protected and in a major case on the separation of church and state. The Senate voted 54-45 on Friday to confirm Gorsuch, ending more than a year of bitter partisan conflict over the ideological balance of the nation's highest court. Gorsuch will be sworn in Monday, allowing him to join the court for the final months of its term, which ends in June. A private ceremony at the court, overseen by Chief Justice John G. Roberts, Jr., will be followed by an event at the White House. There, Gorsuch's former boss, Justice Anthony M. Kennedy, will preside, marking the first time in the court's history that a justice will serve alongside one of his former clerks. President Trump's pick of Gorsuch to be the nation's 113th justice will restore a conservative-leaning, Republican-nominated majority to a court that has either deadlocked or drifted to the left since the death of Justice Antonin Scalia in February 2016. Gorsuch's nomination has been a rare, unalloyed victory for Trump, winning unanimous support from Senate Republicans. But it required a brutal fight with Democrats, who are still incensed that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, RK, refused to even hold a hearing for President Barack Obama's nominee, Judge Merrick Garland. The political clash ended only when Republicans voted as a bloc to eliminate the ability of the Senate minority to filibuster Supreme Court nominees. In the end, only 3 Democrats, from conservative states, Senators Joe Donnelly, Indiana, Heidi Heitkamp, ND, and Joe Manchin III, W. Virginia, joined 51 Republicans to support Gorsuch. Senator Johnny Isakson, Republican Georgia, who is recovering from recent back surgeries, was absent. Gorsuch's arrival at the court as the replacement for another conservative jurist will not immediately alter the majority that has edged the court in a more liberal direction of late, upholding affirmative action, striking down laws restricting access to abortion and declaring same-sex marriage to be protected by the Constitution. And it is unknowable exactly how the lifetime appointment of the 49-year-old Coloradan will affect the court in the decades to come. Gorsuch has a well-deserved reputation as a conservative on the Denver-based U.S. Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit, even if he has not ruled on many of the high-profile issues that form the public's image of the Supreme Court. But reaction to the Senate's vote, the closest margin since it approved Clarence Thomas more than 25 years ago, makes clear the expectations. Gorsuch was hailed by gun rights activists, anti-abortion organizations and business groups, and denounced by environmentalists, feminists and unions. They will not have to wait long to see where Gorsuch fits in. Within the week, Gorsuch will join his new colleagues in considering whether to hear 2 lower court defeats being appealed by gun rights organizations. A case about whether business owners may refuse to offer their wedding services to same-sex couples awaits resolution. Soon, the justices will take up North Carolina's request that they overturn a decision tossing out as unconstitutional its tightened voting restrictions. And heading toward the court is Trump's revamped travel ban on refugees and certain immigrants, a case that Senate Democrats said will test Gorsuch's independence from the man who chose him for the high court. One notable difference between this nomination and those past is that Trump had clear, stated litmus tests for his nominee, said Elizabeth Whitera, president of the liberal Constitutional Accountability Center, which opposed Gorsuch's confirmation. Gorsuch will have the opportunity almost immediately to demonstrate just how closely he fits within 2 of President Trump's stated litmus tests for his high court nominee, guns and religion. It seems likely that Gorsuch holds the key to a long-delayed case that is the court's most important of the term regarding separation of church and state. A church-affiliated school in Missouri is challenging that state's refusal to let it participate in a grant program that provides playground safety materials. Trinity Lutheran Church says religious institutions are unfairly excluded from such state programs. The state points to a clause in its constitution that says no money shall ever be taken from the public treasury, directly or indirectly, in aid of any church, sect, or denomination of religion. Justices agree to hear playground case that raises church-state separation. The court accepted the case nearly 15 months ago, when Scalia was still alive. But it delayed scheduling the case for oral argument until now. That might be an indication that the court has been divided on the issue from the beginning and needs a ninth vote to break the tie. Gorsuch was an outspoken supporter of religious objectors in two cases involving the Affordable Care Act. In Hobby Lobby v. Sebelius and Little Sisters of the Poor v. Burwell, Gorsuch wrote that a requirement that employers provide contraceptive coverage for their employees could make the religious complicit in what they consider a sin. The court is also considering a petition from a Denver baker who was found to have unlawfully discriminated against a gay couple by refusing to sell them a wedding cake. Lower courts ruled that Jack Phillips, the owner of Masterpiece Cake Shop, violated Colorado's public accommodations law, which prohibits refusing service to customers based on factors such as race, sex, marital status or sexual orientation. The Supreme Court has listed the case as under consideration for weeks, without announcing whether it is accepting the case or turning it down. That has led to speculation that the justices have decided not to take the case and that one of the conservative justices is writing a dissent against that decision. But it could also be that 3 justices want to take the case and are hoping Gorsuch will provide the 4th vote required to accept a case.